Buckle up and get ready for a wild ride through time. Medicine's history is like a thrilling adventure full of twists and turns that will blow your mind. For nearly 4,000 years, doctors were stuck on the humor scale trying to fix you by balancing your body's juices. And can you believe it? People didn't even accept tiny bugs as the cause of diseases until way back in the 1700s. But don't worry, our journey isn't all about bad blood and broken theories. We're about to uncover an incredible mystery that'll make you go whoa. Stay tuned for the story of the legendary Byzantine warrior with a jaw-dropping secret. Get ready for a jaw-dropping discovery. In Greece, archaeologists uncovered the remains of a Byzantine warrior who's taking the medical world by storm, literally. This nearly 700-year-old soldier was found with an extraordinary golden repair job on his broken jaw, using a technique that dates back to ancient Greek physician Hippocrates himself. Can you believe it? It's like something straight out of a time-traveling superhero movie. This fearless fighter lived a life of battles and bravery, fighting against the Ottomans in the 14th century. But what's truly mind-blowing is how his life, death, and daring surgery have given us a glimpse into the past. It's history like you've never seen before. Let's dive deeper into this warrior's incredible story. It seems he had quite an adventure before meeting his end. A whopping 10 years prior to his gruesome discovery, this fearless fighter suffered severe blunt force trauma that left him with a shattered jaw in 2 pieces. Talk about tough stuff. But what really sets him apart is the extraordinary care he received. Golden thread was used to stitch up that broken jaw, which just goes to show how far back advanced medicine dates. Some experts even suspect he might have been the commander of Polystylon Fort, where his remains were found. A tragic end likely awaited this warrior either during a fierce battle or as a twisted trophy. His head ended up on a pike, courtesy of the Ottomans, but what an epic life story it was. Let's peel back the layers of this incredible warrior's past. Back then, showing off severed heads on spikes wasn't just some brutal spectacle. It was a calculated move to keep defeated groups from rallying against their new rulers while they were still regrouping after a battle. But what's truly astonishing is that inside our warrior's skull, there's a secret that took an amazing 22 years to uncover. A professor of anthropology at Adelphi University named Anagnostis Aglarakis and his team made the groundbreaking discovery in 1991 while examining the fighter's skull. What they found was nothing short of remarkable. Not only had the warrior suffered a brutal jaw injury, with 2 pieces left to heal, but those skilled ancient medical hands chose non-invasive techniques to mend it, using gold wires expertly wrapped around his molars to keep everything in place. Talk about an ancient dental miracle. Fasten your seatbelts as we dive deeper into this jaw-dropping tale. The non-invasive healing techniques used on our warrior were actually inspired by none other than Hippocrates, the father of medicine himself, all the way from ancient Greece in the 5th century BC. That means these methods had been around for almost 2 millennia when the fighter's jaw got smashed in battle during the Byzantine Empire. Talk about a medical legacy that stood the test of time. The skilled battlefield doctor was clearly well versed in Hippocrates' teachings, as they carefully put together the 2 major fragments of the jaw, showcasing their erudite knowledge. But here's the mind-blowing part: our warrior had some serious dental work done too. One of his teeth was even filed down to make sure everything fit perfectly back into place. Hold on to your hats, folks. The medical masterpiece we're uncovering is getting even more incredible. It turns out the filed-down tooth wasn't just a random dental tweak. It was actually done to stop a wire knot from scratching our warrior's cheek during recovery. And here's what blows minds: this level of expertise in ancient medicine has archaeologists absolutely stunned, revealing the secrets of polystylon, a medical technique we've never seen before. But that's not all. The skull also holds the key to unraveling some intense history. The Battle of Polystylon in the 14th century left its mark, and researchers believe the final blow that took our warrior's life was an incredibly forceful one, sending shockwaves through time. Get ready for more jaw-dropping revelations. Dr. Aglarakis' groundbreaking study is painting a vivid picture of the epic battle for Polystylon's fort, and here's what he's saying: instead of surrendering, the defenders must have put up one heck of a fight because it was ultimately taken by force, and what a brutal takeover it was. The skull's gruesome frontal impact strongly suggests that our warrior met his demise just before or at the moment of defeat. But wait, there's more to this story. After the enemy claimed victory and beheaded our brave defender, leaving him impaled on a spike as a grim warning, someone, probably in secret, snuck back to give our hero a dignified burial. And here's the clincher: they must have done it without the Ottoman conquerors finding out, because there's no sign of them interfering. It seems they'd have had no qualms about leaving him unburied, but as it stands, the rest of his body remains lost in history. This is getting incredibly emotional. It's clear that someone close to our warrior felt an overwhelming sense of love and respect, because they risk everything to give him a proper send-off. And what's even more touching is that researchers discovered the makeshift tool used. It was just a broken piece of pottery lying around, not exactly ideal for digging, but enough to show the desperation and urgency of the situation. Maybe time was running out, or it wasn't safe to be seen burying someone from the opposing side. Whatever the reason, this selfless act was done with love. The warrior's head was laid to rest in an existing grave one that might have belonged to his very own 5-year-old son. We can only imagine the pain and sorrow of losing a loved one on the battlefield, but also the hope and comfort that came from giving them dignity even in death. Despite all these years of research, we still can't confirm if this brave warrior was a father to that young child. It's a mystery that remains unsolved. But what we do know is that this burial site has been untouched for centuries in the middle of Palestine Fort's cemetery, which consisted of just 20 plots back then. Now let's talk about the incredible condition of the warrior's skull. It was found with his lower jaw still attached, suggesting that when he was laid to rest after the fierce battle in the 1380s, his head had soft tissues like muscle and skin intact. This is a rare find. The fact that we can see signs of healing on the skull from an earlier injury has kept researchers fascinated for decades, driving them to keep digging deeper into this ancient story. Unraveling the healing process took researchers a serious amount of time and effort, but what they found was nothing short of remarkable. Tiny remnants of gold wires, once used to hold this warrior's jaw together after a brutal injury, had accumulated around them in a layer of calcareous deposits. This groundbreaking discovery has given us a unique glimpse into the medical practices of 14th century surgery. Now, you might wonder, what happened to those wires? Well, they've long since disintegrated, leaving no trace behind. But their presence can be deduced from the way they anchored around the man's molars. The team also made out that these wires were a special gold and silver alloy. There had to have been some silver mixed in with the gold for added strength, because if there was too much of it, we'd see telltale gray marks on his teeth. And let's take a closer look at what else this incredible find tells us. There was no sign of copper or bronze patina, which would have left behind that unmistakable greenish hue as they broke down. It's clear then that these wires were made from gold thread or wire alloy, something recommended in the ancient Hippocratic corpus dating back to the 5th century BC. But here's what really gets interesting over time. With all the constant jaw movements involved in eating, talking, and just living life, this warrior's repair needed multiple adjustments and they weren't just minor tweaks either. It takes a highly skilled medical practitioner to carry out such work. So, if the warrior required ongoing treatment from a top-notch doctor, that speaks volumes about his status in society. We can confidently say he was a prominent figure in his community. Now, let's put all these amazing discoveries into perspective. While we can't pinpoint exactly what led to this warrior's jaw fracture, it's safe to say it likely happened during combat. It could have been a blast from a black powder projectile as an enemy soldier fell off their horse, or maybe even a spearhead that struck him. One thing for sure is the severity of his injuries. Given the extent of the repair job needed, we can only imagine how painful and difficult to heal this must have been for our warrior. As for whether his tongue was also injured, it's tough to say, but what we do know is that he would have faced serious communication challenges afterwards due to both bone and muscle damage. This incredible find comes from the medieval town of Palestine, which was once part of the ancient city of Abdera, and it's worth noting that Palestine's fortifications date back to around the 7th or 8th century AD. That's a wrap on this epic journey through Palestine's past. The Byzantine walls here were actually built upon the ancient Acropolis of Abdera, showcasing how history has layers. Thanks so much for joining us on this CRAZUSTUFF video adventure. If you're as hooked on Mediterranean history as we are, Let's keep the conversation going in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button, share your newfound knowledge with friends, and subscribe